All righty, let's see. We're in here finally. All right, just give it a couple seconds. Let some people hop on if there's anyone hopped on. I think my dad's watching from the other room. But all right, guys, bourbon and bass fishing, the first live one of the year. Late minute decision. Thanks, Rick. But oh, look, we do have someone on. How about that? All right. So first off, want to thank Fully Loaded. They are the sponsor of this, of me, of 2022. So like to thank them. Really excited. Should be a fun year. If you're looking to stop the tobacco but still want to keep chewing, they're definitely the best option. But tonight we got two awesome guests on. We got Bobby Lanham and Rick Langenderfer, two of my NPFL pros who one of them took a bunch of my money last year and the other one I stayed in a room with him. So we're going to go ahead and bring those guys on and let them introduce themselves. How you doing, guys?
Good. Hey, is that Rick?
That's Rick.
Hey,
what's up, man?
Is that Toby Keith out here?
It could be. It could be.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah.
Good as I once was, bro. There we go.
You said you always wanted to walk into the room and listen to Toby Keith. Well, here you go.
There you go, man. I like it. Yep. I love that.
How you feel now? There you go.
Good. I'm good, man. I was worried. You said a surprise, and I'm like, oh, man, I walked into this crap before.
I was like, uh-oh, what's about to happen? All righty. Well, for the people watching, Bobby, why don't you run down, give them a little introduction about yourself?
Well, I guess as everybody can see, my name is Bobby Lanham. This will be my second year on the NPFL. Started them with their first year, now going to the second year. As everybody knows that's around fishing with me at the NPFL, I don't know. I guess I can't say I'm one of the older guys on the circuit, but I do have 42 years of tournament experience. So kind of glad to get back out here on a circuit such as the NPFL that gives us all a great fellowship, chance to get together and have a good time. And it was just a really great experience last year with all the guys. We had a good time. Just be able to talk to guys. It's kind of hard to do that anymore on any circuit. And the NPFL kind of, we all got together like a big family and a big group, and it was just an exciting year. So I'm glad to be out here again, running the roads with everybody. I lived in Arizona all last year. I spent a lot of time on the road. Bought a brand new truck, put about 60,000 miles on it, just fishing back and forth with NPFL and everybody. So decided this year I'll make the big move and moved over to Kentucky and actually live right here on Lake Barkley, Kentucky Barkley Lake here in Cadiz, Kentucky now. So looking forward to a fun year. Got a couple of circuits we're going to be running, but we'll go ahead and turn it over to Rick and let him throw a little bit of things out there about himself.
Man, hey, Bob was pretty good, actually. Pretty nice job, buddy. So I'm already 43, so I was actually one when Bobby started fishing. So I just want to throw that out there. I'll get the first nail in the coffin. But no, I'm Rick Langenderfer I'm from Toledo, Ohio area. I'm actually Maumee. Lake Erie is 10 minutes from my backyard, so it's kind of a blessing when I get to fish one of the best fisheries in the country, let alone the world. But I've been pro fishing now, quote unquote, for 7-8 years now. This will be also my second season on the NPFL. I had a blast traveling around with the guys. The biggest takeaway from last year is I need to step up my mental game because I lost a lot of money to guys like Bobby. But I think I'm also known on the tour as one of the nice guys on tour, so I'm willing to do anything. Like Cameron, I loaned a boat to Cameron on the first event, actually. It's one of those things to where it's like I wanted to be known when I'm done fishing or done wherever this path takes me. I wanted to be known as the guy that did it the right way. I like to cash checks. Don't get me wrong. I like money, but I'm kind of one of those guys that I'm just doing it to live that dream. I'm like everybody else has had a dream since I was 8 years old to fish professionally, and MPFL gave me that opportunity. As of like this year, I'll be fishing some new Toyota Series Northern events. I was in the Bassmaster Opens, pulled my name out of that one because everyone knows what that's going on. But now I'll be fishing the Toyo Series, and then I'll be fishing the BFL Buckeye division. Only because like I love the Michigan division because we fish St. Clair and Lake Erie all the time. But out of 5 events, 2 of them I'm off limits due to an NPFL coming up here. So it was more common sense to fish the Buckeye division.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, no, I love that Michigan BFL. I hate the Ohio BFL.
Right.
They just sit there and they go to the it's what, Ohio
Yeah,
River,
River
Ohio
twice.
River, Ohio River, and then it's
Right.
like Indian
Yeah.
Lake, and it's like,
Yeah.
sweet. If I catch 40 pounds this year in total,
Yeah.
I probably win AOY.
AOY, exactly. Right. Yep.
But kind of pulling off of that, that'll bring us into our first topic of the night. It's kind of like the path to how everyone got here. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I was at the Cincinnati Expo, and I had so many people walk up to me and ask me, like, how did you get to that level? Like, what was the path you took? They're like, because and they're either high school fishermen, college fishermen, or they're just guys who want to get into BFL, co-anglers, guys who haven't ever fished a tournament before, and they just kind of want to know what is the path. And it's kind of a loaded question because everyone kind of has to carve out their own way to it. And I mean, I'm going to assume the 3 of us all have different paths, and Bobby said he's got the lengthy of the 3. So but yeah, no, Bobby,
big word there, Cameron. Big word.
I know, right? I got me one of them a college education, boys. It don't do anything. It's sitting under like 5 tackle boxes right now, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
But
Mine's
I
same.
got one.
My end table's level.
But yeah, we'll kind of go off of that. Bobby, you want to tell people kind of like how you got started into fishing and kind of the biggest lessons you learned from it and stuff like that?
I got started, well, of course, back when I got started, you didn't have all the options you have now. Basically, there was pretty much one option, and that was BASS. But I started tournament fishing when I was 17 years old, and worked with a few charity tournaments back then in those days, and then slowly worked around a few club levels, which was the mainstream for anything back in the 70s, and that was all the BASS clubs and stuff. But I went through the club cycle, went through all that, the federations, took a lot of titles through that journey, went into actually going on the BASS tour, the Bassmaster tours back in the 80s and the 90s. Took that route, and then actually was fortunate enough to jump in with the FLW tour, like their second or third year out, and actually fished them for, I think about 7 or 8 years. But nowadays there's so many options, so many ways to go. I mean, so many things to do. Man, college days back whenever I was doing my fishing, if they had college fishing back then, boy, it'd have been a big hit as it is now. I was surprised to see the level of high school fishing here. We actually went down with a good buddy of mine, Chris Canute, which is also MPFL. And he does a lot of work with the high schools down in North Carolina. And we spend a day down there. You wouldn't believe the amount of support these high school kids, these kids get out there. I mean, they've got fans. They come out. They have their own tents, brands, names, boats. I mean, it's quite an event to see them kids in them high school tournaments, most especially in the areas down south now. But it's a better road to go because you can get a better feel for it. It was a real tough road back in my days. I've seen a lot of guys just couldn't make it. The money runs out, and then next thing you know, you got to start life all over again. And nowadays they actually have a chance to do it right, going through high school, going through college, and working your way up in the ranks, and then jumping into the tours and everything. And then if you do have to need something to fall back on, at least you've got the college education. You can still make a life. And I was fortunate enough in my field that I had my own business actually for 38 years. And that's what supported me getting through everything, because everybody's going to have up years, down years. You just want to make sure that you can survive those down years, or it's not going to create a financial burden on you. That's just the biggest thing to remember. You are going to have down years, or you can't have a great year every year unless, Kevin Van Dam or a few other guys. but that's just the main thing. Just making sure you're financially, you can afford to take a few down years if you do take a hit on a couple of years.
I gotcha. Yeah, no, I'm the great example of that whole, college and high school circuit, now. Like when I first got into it, I don't know how many people told my dad, like, man, he's in high school fishing. Like, that's awesome. I wish they would have had that when I was in high school. Or Bill Wilcox, he's a pro down in Texas. He actually runs the Honey Hole TV show. He's my aunt's brother, I think. And I talked to him quite a bit, and he was like, "Man, I would have stayed in college if there was college fishing back then." He was like, "I would have got my degree just so I could have fished the tournaments." I mean,
Right.
so yeah, no, like I don't know how I would have got here now without those levels, because the experience it gave me, the backing I had from the money we could pull up as a team, from our fundraisers and stuff like that, it helped pay to go to all these tournaments and stuff like that. And it's like that stuff I couldn't have done on my own or afforded on my own. So, but yeah, no. And those, like you said, no, those guys in college, they can fish. Like there's guys ready to make that move the moment they graduate.
Yep.
Great.
And what about you, Rick?
So I'm like nowhere near any of you guys.
Yeah.
I actually went to college for golf on a scholarship at UNLV. I golfed over there, got two degrees for an education over there. And then came home, traveled around the semi-pro level stuff of golf. And the more I golfed, the more I had a back injury I suffered in college, and the more I golfed competitively, like that level of competitiveness, the more my back was bothering me and I just couldn't do it anymore. So I sat home and did nothing for a long time. And then my buddy introduced me to bass fishing. Well, let me preface this. My dad was a professional walleye guy for 12 years. So prior to this, I spent, every weekend in the summer for 12 years on Lake Erie walleye fishing with my dad. But then went to golf and all that good stuff. Anyways. And then so, my buddy said, well, you ever gone bass fishing before? And I'm like, no, I've never gone bass fishing other than like campgrounds and stuff. I can throw a hot dog with the best of them, and so he took me in this club event, and I co-anglered off the back of his boat and actually won that event. And, fished two other events and won one, finished second in the other one. And I started doing some research on it, and I found out it's like, well, heck, man, like they had BFLs going, and BFLs were $100 for the co-angler to go in. And all I had to show up with was a tackle box, life jacket, and a fishing pole. So I started doing that, and found out that co-angler sucks.
Oh yeah.
It's either your boater's either on him or he's not, and if he's not, you're in for a long day. And so I kind of went out and just bought my own bass boat and jumped in the BFLs. Now this is when I was like 34, something like that, and bought a bass boat, jumped in the Michigan BFLs because I wanted to catch smallmouth. And, the first two full seasons I did the BFLs, I qualified for regionals. Now, preface, I've never caught a smallmouth ever in my life until the first event of the BFLs, so I was one of those guys I didn't like practicing. To be honest with you, to this day, I still don't really know how to practice. I just go out and fish, and I'm getting better at it. But so now I just, I wanted to step up next level, and I'm that guy that, I love to compete, man. I'll throw $100 in with anybody. I'll throw some money in with anybody and go compete for it, because I have the mindset that, anybody can win at any time. It doesn't matter the skill level, what you have, how long you've been doing it, what your bank account looks like. Anybody can beat anybody at any given day. So I'm that guy. So do I belong at this level? Yes, I belong at this level. Does my mentality belong at this level? No, my mentality does not belong at this level, just because I don't have the mindset like you two have. I don't have the mental aptitude to focus for 8 hours. I have ADHD. And so I do a lot of squirrel searching once in a while.
Oh, dude, I got it too, but that's why bass fishing's so good. A cast lasts, 15 seconds?
Yeah.
Like, on to the next one.
On to the next one, right? Exactly. And that's kind of why I love it, man. I'm addicted to it, and I want to do it. I want to take this as far as I can do it. And that's my story. It's like I'm just proof that if you want to do it, it's possible. There's avenues to do it. and you don't have to have a ton of money. Like I'm self-funded. I got one sponsor that pays me, and everything else is out of my own pocket. So, I'll be the first one to admit, when it comes, I'm transparent. Everyone knows this. If they know me, they know I'm 100% transparent. Last year, I was $47,000 in the hole last year when it ended, and so, it took me about 12 minutes to figure out, like, hey, let's go do it again. Let's see what happens. Maybe this year's different,
Especially when that schedule came out.
Absolutely.
Like,
That's a rough schedule this
Saginaw
year.
Bay, Amish, or Lake Erie.
Yeah, I'm 45 minutes from Sandusky. I'm an hour and a half from Saginaw Bay. So it's like, I pretty much have 2 free events.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have a good chance of getting your money back from me this year, because I am not I know smallmouth, but I'm not the greatest in the world when it comes to those brown fish. Me, give me the green ones all day long, I'm happy. But the brown ones, that might be a little rougher on me this year. So it's going to be an interesting year, I think, for me. Well, I'm actually looking forward to it, because it's a new challenge, and I don't think I've been on a circuit that's ran so much smallmouth fishing in one year. So
No,
it'll be fun. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, we got 3 out of 6 that are smallmouth heavy, and
4 if you count Cumberland.
Watts
Bar's got them too there, bud.
Yeah, I was gonna say Watts Bar. I think Watts Bar is gonna be a 50-50 tournament, but so you want to call 4 out of 6, then you got deep water spots in Hartwell, so it's like you pretty much have smallmouth tactics 5 out of 6 of them.
Yeah, right.
So.
But
I'm looking
going
forward
off,
to it,
oh yeah, no, dude, I'm stoked. Like the amount of time I'm gonna spend on Erie this summer between guiding and then just fishing I want to learn every crack and every rock on every reef. It's like I know most of the rocks on every reef. Now I want to learn every crack. So
Bobby, I'll give you some friendly advice, because I love you, bro. You're like a brother to me. So when you come to Lake Erie, you're not going to be completely lost with greenfish up here. Greenfish will keep you in the hunt up here.
Yeah,
there you go.
You can cash a good check off a greenfish up here.
Yep.
If you have the perfect week, you can win off with them.
Yeah. I was a little worried about Wisconsin this year, because that was another one. Of course, that one's largemouth and smallies both. And actually, I did very well up there. And but I was surprised the amount of largemouth fishing, and that was a good time up there in Wisconsin.
Oh yeah,
last year I enjoyed that.
For you.
I don't know. That last day was fun. That last day, I was like, all right, let's suit up again. Let's go one more day.
Yeah, I'm like, cool, I'm down, man. But it took me 6 days to catch a keeper.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. I was like, what? That was I caught a sturgeon in front of camera. That was the highlight of my day. With like 20 minutes left, I caught a 5-foot sturgeon on 8-pound drop shot line. And I'm like, I got nothing else. I'm gonna try to land this guy.
All right, going off of all that, I got another question for y'all. What was some of your biggest hurdles to get over, get to this level?
Oh, I don't know. I can start with that one. I think the biggest hurdle, and I'm sure most guys is gonna be the same way, is you gotta get your mindset right, because otherwise you're chasing your mind around all day long. You're chasing your head around. Instead of chasing the fish, you're like, oh, I need to be here. I need to be there. I need to be here. And getting your mindset is I think was the biggest hurdle for me, because you say you're ADH. Well, I'm a full blast head on guy, man. I don't stop. I take off. I go until it's time to stop to come in. And so it was rough for me in the beginning years, because I'm like, I was always thinking, God, I need to be here. I need to be there. I need to be there. I need to be here. I need to be there. I need to be here. And it took me years to realize, okay, stop. We got, if we only hit 2 spots today and we got our limit, we're doing what we need to do, and so it took me a while. That was my biggest hurdle, was to get myself to slow down and stop and remember, hey, there's, like in our case, there's 3 days to this deal. We only need to hit 2 holes today to get a limit. Let's just hit 2 holes today and get a limit, and then we'll just try to work from there. But yeah, that was my struggle, was just trying to get myself to settle down enough, to really concentrate more on, where I need to sit, how I needed to position the boat, whatever it needed to be, and that took me a little bit of time there.
I'll jump on that one immediately. That was the same thing for me, man. My biggest hurdle was mentality. I started getting it down. I'm coming into 2022 way more prepared mentally. I've done a lot of mental soul searching, but let's call the elephant in the room, man. The biggest hurdle is throwing 30 grand out and say, hey, let's go play.
Amen. That's my biggest hurdle.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I can get my head wrapped around anything if I'm determined. It's like, man, finding $30,000 to drop down now.
Yeah.
That's a little bit more difficult.
I'm that guy that, like, when first season came around, I was like, cool, I'm gonna need sponsors. So I contacted all kinds of sponsors. I had all kinds of maybes, and then COVID hit, and then I got a whole bunch of no's. And I was a day away from sending a letter to Brad saying, hey, man, I can't do this. And then my lovely wife, she's Team Langenderfer. I'm just the guy that has the last name. But she came up and handed me a check and said, no, we're going to do this. We're not gonna turn 70, 80 years old and say, I wonder what would happen if.
Right. There you go.
Yeah, no, I was in a similar situation with that. I called the charter company I worked for, and I was like, hey, I need your blessing on this. You gonna let me go to these tournaments and then like run in between my events? And they're like, oh yeah, dude. And so I was like, all right, so I can pay for it with that. And I contacted a handful of sponsors, and they're like, yeah, no, we'll probably work something out. No, that sounds like a great idea. And then COVID hit like 3 weeks later, and you reach your hand back out to them, and they're like, yeah, no, absolutely not.
Yeah. Right.
And so luckily with that year ahead, I was able to put back most of the entry fees last year, but still dropping that 30 grand, like that's the biggest hurdle. I mean, even this year now I had a bunch of extra stuff that went on last year that cost me even more money on top of all this. So, I mean, finally,
might as well just bought another boat, bro.
Yeah. Well, it was that, and then that charter company I worked with, like, I got back from the second event. It was time to start the charter season, and I show up, and they're like, yeah, no, like, they already replaced me and stuff like that. And I was like, what? And I was like, I got a summer to work so I can pay for the rest of this year and then next year. And so that stacked on top of it. Like it made it rough last year. And then finding, like, luckily, like, Fully Loaded picked me up this year, which is amazing. And then Razor Rods picked me up. I'm getting some money from Mercury. So like it started finally coming in, but that's still the biggest hurdle, is finding that $30,000.
Right.
Wait till you get my age and try to find a sponsor that wants to carry you for the year.
Your resume's a lot better,
the younger guys down there,
Yeah, your resume, you got 43 years. You can say, hey, man, I've done it for a while. I'm sitting there going,
I literally got told when I was looking for sponsors my first year, I literally had a company tell me I was too young.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were like, no. Yeah, they were like, no, we want someone older. They were like, someone older.
You should just threw my name out there on that one then. Yeah.
I was like, I'm 25.
BobbyLanham.com. Look them up.
That's right.
I was like, I'm not even the youngest on tour. Like, come on. So, but all right, going off of that, here's a question: who was your first official sponsor you ever got?
Oh my God, my first, believe it or not, was Zebco.
Really?
Yeah, Zebco, and I actually was with Zebco for probably, oh boy, man, I started with them way down the ambassador level and worked up. I was with them for probably about 12 years. And they were my first really official sponsor. I got, all my product and things like that through those guys. And then I actually got a break, probably about 8 or 9 years into fishing. A buddy of mine had a connection with Chevy, and then I went with Chevy, and Chevy, of course, back at the days, they gave us pretty good discounts. And then I actually got my first official real sponsor was Dodge, believe it or not. When I was with Chevy, Dodge started coming out with the diesel engine, and they were looking for guys for that. And I happened to be fortunate enough to jump in with Dodge in the beginning years, and I spent almost 20 years with Dodge and Mopar, and just had a blast with those guys. They gave us trucks every year. We were always in the newest trucks and equipment. They paid for our fuel. They really did us right, and we actually got to travel with NASCAR for a couple of years, and they actually had a bass tank with NASCAR, and we traveled with and did quite a few seminars at the NASCAR events and things with Mopar. So those were some good times right there back in those days with those guys. And those were my first really truly official sponsors.
Man, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was a
They
good
got
time.
any more of those to hand out? Because like,
You can't seem to get them anymore.
yeah. Now at the age of social media, they don't need you doing all that stuff.
That's the problem. Social media has
like,
taken over so much of it. They just don't need the staff like they used to run back.
We don't need you to go do a seminar at a NASCAR race. Just post it
right?
on Facebook.
Exactly. Yep.
What about you, Rick?
So I was just informed I should tell my first sponsor was Fleshlight. So I'm not too sure what that is, but it's a Rob Connors joke. So everyone knows Rob. He's our camera guy for our media guy for the NPFL. He's not level-headed, I think. But no, my first true sponsor was 2K Jigs. I'm still with them. Still do a lot of marketing ideas for them, and do a lot of shows. Actually, we're going down to Columbus next weekend. So if you guys are in the area, it's like this. I think it's the second largest fishing show in the U.S. I believe.
No, I can't wait.
So we're going to be down there. We'll have our full staff down there, and we'll be having a lot of good deals going on. But yeah, Dan Hatchew, he's the owner. He's from Sparta, Michigan. He saw potential in me, gave me an entry level deal, and now he, I don't want to say if I ask, he gives it to me. There's a lot of feedback. There's a lot of kickback sometimes, but I believe that he takes a lot of what my opinions are. He puts them in consideration, and he politely tells me no a lot. So we'll go. But no, I love 2K, and I'll be there for life, man. It's I have an open contract with them, so it's not a year-to-year deal. It's pretty much I'm there until I want to leave, and I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Good deal.
Yeah. No, I definitely get that. Yeah, I picked I was in college. Yeah. My first year at college, I was actually down at the Columbus Fishing Expo, and I met one of 2K's competitors, old fart lures. I met Carl and Kathy, and one of my buddies introduced me into them. And I don't know, it was like a month later, they were doing some fishing event up at his house, and my buddy called me up. He was like, "Hey, come up with me." Well, went up, fished with them, and they're like, "Dude, yeah, we're gonna bring you on the team." And then, so yeah, no, they're fantastic products, and I mean, I love Carl and Kathy. They're fantastic. And last year, like when I was struggling to find actual paying sponsors, they called me up and they were like, "We want to be your first official like paying sponsor for all of this." And so, like they didn't give me a ton, but like, man, it meant the world to me.
Yeah. That's why I look at sponsors, man. It's like I could care about money. I don't care less about money. It's like that's not what a sponsor is. A sponsor is something that you can call them up and BS with them and act them like they're family. That's a true sponsor. Right. A sponsor that just writes you a check and you don't ever have to do any work or don't ever have to talk to them again. That's not a sponsor. You're just a marketing scheme.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I'm never going to be that person. I'm not.
Yeah, that's the difference between a partner and a sponsor.
We're going to do some work together. Yeah.
Yeah. But alrighty, guys. Got one last question on the path. Do any of y'all remember kind of a step you made in your life that was non-fishing related, but it's probably one of the biggest reasons you're here in the first place? Like for me, my biggest step that actually led to me being here is, I'm gonna be honest, I partied way too much, didn't care about my grades, and I got kicked out of Ohio State. And so I had to transfer, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to transfer to Bowling Green. So I transferred to BGSU, and then because of that, I got to join their team. I met my college partner I had my senior year. I mean, him and I, we fished amazing together. And because I was also up at Bowling Green, I was able to work at Lake Erie doing fishing charters and stuff like that. And so over the summer, I fished every single day. And that time on the water, I mean, my fishing in one summer got better than it had done my entire life. And so, you'll have anything like that?
I'm going to say, like, my biggest, I don't have anything like that, I guess, I'll say that I'll admit that I drank a lot in college, and I drank a lot afterwards. I know
you went to college in Las Vegas, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So But I was one of those guys that, man, when I went out, I was drinking until I blacked out. You know, so now it's, you know, Cameron's hung out with me for a full
Tuesday.
season. He knows. Yeah, he knows. He knows. He knows me. It's like, you know, I'll drink till the cows come home. But when I say I'm done, I'm done. You know, I don't force it. I don't push it. But to be honest with you, my biggest step that I took in life was when I was like 17, 18 years old. And, you know, everyone is that teenager where they think they know more than their parents do. And it was the day my dad and I got into a scuffle. And that day turned into the day that my dad and I became best friends. And it was pretty much a eye-opening experience to where it's like, man, my dad knows what the heck is going on. And he's my best friend right now. And he's my biggest
for anyone
influencer.
who doesn't know Rick's dad, Rick is a clone of his dad.
Yeah.
Like the exact same person. It's hilarious.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but well, no, I love my parents. I have the best parents I think you can ever. If you were to sit there and go to build a parent, my parents would be the ones most complicated, most duplicated. You know, they're 100% supportive. They'll do anything for me if I need help. But my dad's my biggest influence. So we talk probably once a week, twice a week. We talk, we golf together, and we do everything together. And it's great. He's 73 years old, so he can still get out there and. He still wants to go party. We've been kicked out of a couple of bars together, so he still wants to go. He still wants to go party once in a while.
What about you, Bobby?
Oh boy, that's a tough one for me, I guess. Well, I grew up here on Kentucky Lake fishing every day with my grandfather, and that's actually who got me started bass fishing was my grandfather when I was pretty young. I was probably 6 or 7. But I guess if you're looking for a path change for me, probably had to be when I was like 16, moved to the West Coast, Arizona, and really had never done anything or as far as tournaments or anything like that. And then, you know, like I said, had started fishing a couple of tournaments when I was 17. But man, that's probably, if I hadn't went to Arizona, I'd say I probably wouldn't have got as far as I did with tournaments. If I'd have stayed in Kentucky, I probably would have been like everybody else, you know, hey, you know, let's go drink a 36 pack and see who can, you know, stay up the longest and that deal too. I've been in the same bracket, I'm sure. But I guess, you know, my biggest path change was moving to the West Coast. You know, I enjoyed it. I never thought I'd leave from over there. It's an awesome place, but things change, life changes, and you know, it just got to the point where it just didn't feel like home anymore. And guess what? You know, my starting path brought me right back. So here I am back at Kentucky Barkley Lake. You know, living my life out here probably. So, you know, that's about as far as I can say with my path change.
No, I definitely get that. I mean, I grew up in Texas, and never in my childhood did I ever think I would live in Ohio of all places. Like the Ohio was that state I made fun of because it exists. And it's like without me moving up here, I doubt I'd be anywhere near where I am now. Like, yeah, I mean, I know the fishing's tenfold better down there, but the opportunities that I got from moving up here, I mean, that's the reason I'm here, you know, the opportunity. So
yeah, I can say other than college, man, I left and I came back and I literally lived like 15 miles from where I was born, you know, and that's my home. I ain't going anywhere else. I say that now, but I'll probably do what Bobby did, move south or move west or, you know,
Tennessee's a beautiful place.
If everyone watched the news, we just got hit with 18 inches of snow. So I'm tired. Right. Kind of done with that. It kind of hurts your bass fishing when you can't get out of the driveway.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, right now our boat is at Bass Pro Shop and we have to go pick it up because my bass cat won't be in until like May.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to use the nitro this year again, and Bass Pro Shop's had it since October fixing it, and I guess they're finally done, but we had this snowstorm hit and it's like, are we gonna need a snow plow to get it out? Like,
right. Yeah.
So
where they store it at, you might not get it out.
Yeah, I know. It's like, man, I'm gonna have to go up there with like a torch or something and melt the ice around it. Like,
oh yeah.
I've had a brand new one. I got it last week and it's been sitting out in the garage and you can't even get it out of the garage. A brand new boat. And man, that's rough on you because you know it's sitting there and you're like, God, I just want to take it out and run it.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
and, you can't. Yeah, well, I'm in the same boat. You can't even open the damn garage door. They're froze to the ground.
Yeah,
like,
can't do
oh,
nothing.
We were talking about we need to stick it into the garage and get it, warmed up. Make sure there's no fuel line freeze ups or anything like
Right.
that. And it's like,
oh, I went to
there's
Cumberland last week, and I don't know if you made it up there or not. Oh my God! Well, I went. I was going to go for that whole week, and I went up on Tuesday, and I actually lasted 2 days, but it never got above 17 degrees. I don't think. The first day I got out, of course, everything on the boat was froze solid. The brakes were froze solid. I had to drag it, 2 miles down the ramp with the brakes on, and it was just a brutal situation. You get out there, you can't run the boat because I think it was like 11 degrees. So you try to go maybe 100 yards, and it hurts so bad you're like, all right, I got to stop. So
Right.
I had a good fishing spot here. Let me, what's here. But then you come back in, you put it on the trailer, and I learned, do not put your parking brake on the trailer on if you disconnect it from the truck when it's cold like that. Well, of course, that all froze up. Everything freezes, Boat froze to the trailer. I mean, it was just like, after 2 days of all that stuff, I'm like, all right, you know what? You guys can have this. I'm going home. It's going to be different when we come back up here for the tournament anyhow. So,
Rick and I were going to go down. We were going to pre-fish together, actually, since, like I said, don't have a boat right now. And he calls me up, what was it, Thursday?
Wednesday. We were supposed to leave Friday morning. We're supposed to leave. I call him Thursday night.
He's like, hey, so are you okay with canceling? And I'm like, yes. He's like, yeah. He said, we'll probably fish for a day, but then we're going to put the boat on the trailer, and it's going to freeze to the trailer. He's like, and I'm not in the mood to try and throw the trailer into the lake. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yep.
So
yeah, my thinking, this is my wisdom coming in. So you should be proud of me, Bobby. I'm not a dumb kid after all.
There you go.
My wisdom was
smart choice by staying home.
Exactly. I was like, hey, there's going to be more negative things that can come out of this trip than positive things.
Yeah, there was a lot of those.
yeah. So, but like you said, Bobby, it's going to be completely different. I think they're in a warming trend right now, so it's going to be completely different in 2 more weeks.
Right.
Yeah, I looked at the temperature yesterday, and it was going to be like Thursday and I haven't looked today, and it'll probably show Saturday's temperature, but like Thursday and Friday yesterday, it said 50-something degrees, and I was like,
"Yep,
I'm okay with that." Like,
yeah.
Like, I mean, water temp's still only going to be in the 40s, but like smallmouth don't care. Like,
once they're cold, they're cold.
Yeah. Like I've caught them in 32-degree water, and they're like, don't care. Like,
don't care.
So.
Yep.
But all right, so kind of going off to the next one, we kind of got lucky with the MPFL. We didn't have the qualifying series that some of the other ones had. I mean, I know Bobby, you had to deal with that for the FLW Tour, I'm guessing, but now we don't have to deal with that. But that was another thing I wanted to talk about was I've got a bunch of friends who tried to sign up for the Opens this year. And I mean, like Rick hit on it earlier, he had to pull out of the Northern Opens, and it's because the wait list is incredibly long. And, they've only got three divisions, right?
Three divisions. Yep.
3 divisions, 3 tournaments, and it's like a 250 cap on each event.
Yep.
And they're full in like hours.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And so, we talk about like, this is our path. This is how you can get there. This is that next step you can take. But there's a lot of people right now who can't take that step, not because they can't afford it, but because there's not enough room for people to take that step.
Right.
So, I mean, kind of what are your thoughts on all that? I don't hear any rumors, and I mean, I'm not the most embedded into the industry, so, take it at face value.
But I think, I'll let you in on a couple of things too. Along with MPFL this year, American Bass ABA has started a new series, the Solo Top 150s. It's right now, this year, I know they're doing an open entry, but it's limited to 150 guys. And it's basically ran the same way MPFL is being ran, except for I believe they have a top 10 cut. And I will be fishing that this year. My suggestion to guys that are really looking to get out there on this top end stuff, there's tournaments like these that are starting to come up. My suggestion is, if you got the time and the place, get in there on those circuits for the first couple of years, because I guarantee you, after about 3 or 4 years, these tournaments all get established, and they're all going to go right back to the way, all of them are now. ABA, I'm sure with these solo top 150s, after probably 2 more years, you're probably going to have to qualify through the ABA ranks to come in to the solo 150s. They've got a Southern division and a Central division right now. And I'm sure they'll probably end up adding a Northern division. But once they get their 3 or 4 divisions all settled in, it's going to be qualifying rounds. So, my suggestion to guys is, keep your ear out there, man. Make sure these. If you want to fish these circuits like, these MPFLs and solos, I prefer to fish them without having somebody else in my boat. I prefer to have a camera guy in my boat, but anybody else I don't. But
what's that like?
Makes like camera guys get in your boat. They do
hey,
that.
We had some good times last year with the camera guys. I think I had, what did I have last year? 5 top 10 camera guy days, I think it was last year. So
Harris chain, you had what, 2 out of 3 in Harris chain, didn't you?
Yeah, I had 2 out of 3 in the Harris chain. Yep. So yeah, because I was second place the first day, and then the course of the second day and the third day, I had the 2 camera guys the second day and the third day. But yeah, I had a good time there at the Harris chain for sure. So, but that's back to where we're at on the circuits. That's what I would be looking for. It's the easiest way to get into a new circuit, MPFL. Of course, MPFL, I don't know. I think they'll just probably stay with waiting list because they really don't work with the division to qualify to get in. They're going to go. I'm sure they'll go to a waiting list situation, same as BASS and stuff. But like ABA or FLWs or whatever you might want to try to get into, just kind of watch, because everybody seems to be splitting off on different circuits and deals. But that's to me, you want the experience. Look for those and get in those, right away, and you'll work your way up from there.
Yep, totally agree, Bobby. My biggest thing is I always say just fish where you can fit in, man. It don't matter. Right. You got to drive 12 hours to fish a series, go do it. The more, like, technically, I'll say technically, the MPFL did have a qualification. We all had to apply for it. We all had to bring resumes, and we all had to be selected. So we did have a selection process. They didn't just pick the 100 guys that can afford 30 grand. Like, our list, I think at the time was like 200 people wanted to get in, and they picked the top 100 of them. Right. And I don't know why they picked me, to be honest with you, but they did. But
you had a fun last name.
I got one last name. Yeah, it's cool. It looks good on the back of the jersey. Mr. Wilt, 4 letters. You got a whole bunch of space you're losing.
Hey, I take that offensive.
I meant it offensive. Yeah. But it was a whole bunch of the whole lot. I just say fish where you can, man. Like the Northern Opens, like I think total of all 3 divisions, it's like 400 and some people on the waiting list.
Yep.
And so it's like everyone wants to live that dream. Now, the nice thing with the Opens is that the more events you qualify, or the more events you get into, the more you qualify for higher priority list.
Right.
So if you just fish one event, that puts you a little bit higher than next year, and then the next year, I didn't fish any Opens at all, so I'm kind of like in the bottom of the picking order. Right. But I'm sure Bobby, I think Bobby said you were what, 23rd, 24th?
Yeah, I was like 22nd, and I ended up just bailing because, I can't see going into something like that. If they call you 2 days prior and say you're in, that's a tough road to run down there and try to compete. Then when you have no time to pre-fish and you're running ragged to get there and put everything together, and so I was in like 22nd on the waiting list, and I ended up just coming off the waiting list.
Okay, yeah, I was in the 120, so I just pulled it immediately. It's like for 120 people not to fish an Open right now, that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
but it's good for them. I'm proud of them, man. It's having a solid 250 for all 9 events is good. That's good. That's what our industry needs. Yep. I always say that's kind of the negative to some of these BFL regions is that they'll have tournaments with 80 boats, but then the flip side, they'll have another BFL with 310.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
so
I've
that's
heard
kind
of
of
some
a
of
negative.
the BFLs on like Gunnersville or something like that are
Yeah.
ridiculous. And then you go to like a BFL on the Ohio River and there's 70 boats.
70 boats, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep. I fished at BFL Michigan. It was 53 boats fishing on St. Clair.
yeah.
Blew my mind. The
Yeah.
smallmouth capital of the world, and there's 53 boats fishing it. Yep.
No,
Granted, it was 5 to 7 foot waves, but whatever.
See, that's a big one. No, like I know some of my buddies still in college. They're running into with the Bassmaster College Series. They have the same cap, but they've only got four tour events for the entire season.
Okay.
Maybe 5. Right. I think they have an open or something like that. But yeah, they've only got 4 tour events for the entire season, and they're running the same thing. If you don't like sign up day of, like,
right,
you're on the waiting list. Like I had buddies, I was asking like, "Hey, why didn't you go down for the Harris Chain tournament like a couple weeks ago?" And they're like, "Dude, we're on the waiting list. Like, there's a bunch of people on the waiting list." And I was like, I think Bass is doing something right. At least their marketing team is doing something right because everyone's wanting to fish it, and then
Right. Yep.
But I think another big thing with Toyota, you don't hear it as much on the MLF side as the MLF has another division, another level in there.
Yep.
That kind of helps add in more people, but also on their lower level, that BFL side, they've got so many more tournaments, and honestly, they're done a lot better than what the Bass Nation has done, and they have a lot more participation and stuff like that. And so it kind of spreads it out on their end. It's like, Bass, obviously, everyone wants to get to the top of Bass right now, but MLF has definitely got it right on the middle levels to make room for everyone, I would say, to fish.
Yep.
So,
but if you want to make, I always say, if you want to make money on the water, you fish the MLF stuff. If you want to make money off the water, you fish the Bass Elites. That's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I tell people too. I'm like, if you want to go fish an open or a Toyota, it's like, well, do you really need that money from that check, or are you trying to make it to the next level? Because it's like, if you're looking more to make money from your checks, go fish the Toyota series. They pay a little bit better out, I think, a little bit farther down. It's like the opens. It's like you're cutting checks at the opens. You're still not really paying for anything unless you're winning. You're really just trying to make that jump.
Right. Exactly.
So, but that brings me to the next question concerning the MPFL. Is the MPFL more of a staging ground right now for a bunch of guys who want to make that jump but maybe can't get into some of these events or make it to that next level yet because, there's not any room? Or is it actually a top-tier candidate for one of the other tours?
My opinion, I think actually, I think both categories. It is a starting point probably for some guys, but where you're going to get the experience in the level of competition, you're not going to get it anywhere else. It's going to take some money to jump in here, but you're going to find out real quick, is this what you really want to do? Can you handle the stress of putting that kind of money out there? Because that's going to hurt a lot of guys too. They might qualify and make that jump into the elites, but guess what? Those elite entry fees aren't very much cheaper than the MPFLs. And you got more events.
And you got 9 tournaments. So
you got more events. So you leave one and go to the next one. So the MPFL, I believe what you said is it's a good combination of both. It's a learning league, and it's also you're going to figure out if this is something you really want to do, because you're going to learn real quick. The hardships and the fun times, you're going to have both of them, but it's can you handle it? Can you handle the pressure? And that's what you're going to find out real quick on this tour.
Yep, totally agree. I think I'll go with the other side too. I think the MPFL is a top tier candidate to where it can be by itself. It doesn't need any help. The 100, I think I'm pretty positive we got 125 breaking news flash. I think we were 123 last week, and I think we got 2 more. So I think we're at the 125.
All right, good deal.
But we got 125 of the best guys that just no one's heard of. There's like a handful of people heard of. There's a
I've
handful.
heard of Patrick Walters. Brad Knight.
He's all right. What is he? Is he like number one in the world or something like that? Who cares?
There's a couple of those guys.
Yeah. But so it's like we have the core 25 guys that can take this tour a long way, and I want to say that I'm one of those core 25 guys that are needed to pay those other guys. That's why I'm here, I guess. But no, I think realistically, I think we have it set up. Yes, we had a hiccup last year. I'll admit that my opinion is 130 of us kind of were naive. I include the tournament directors and all the family. Everyone is in part of the production for the NPFL that something like that wasn't going to happen. Like we went lickety split. All this good stuff happened for 5 events, and it's like we were naive thinking that situation wasn't going to happen. Right. I'm not going to go into that situation. Everyone knows it. I'm not going to kick a dead horse or a dead cow, as you can see, dead cows. But it's one of those things to where, we learn from it. That's the biggest thing we can do. We didn't fold. We didn't run. All the anglers, I think 98% of them came back. We believe in the Shield, and we're here, and I believe that we'll be a top tier tour at the end of this year.
Definitely. Yep.
No, I definitely agree with that. I think right now we're definitely starting to lean. I don't know if we're there yet as that top tour. I think we're definitely leaning, and I mean like a year or two just breaking in, just because some of the talent we got on here. Like last year, one of the big things everyone was saying was like, well, you have 120 guys, and we or 100, 110 or something like that, and they were like, we know none of them.
Right.
And it's like now it's like Keith Carson. I mean, kind of a bad example. I've heard of Keith Carson before, but like he's becoming a household name. I mean, he day one of Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit came in, was second place.
Leading or whatever.
Yep. John Sukup finished 8th in the Opens this week. So I mean, people are starting. They're like, oh yeah, now I've heard of them now because of the NPFL. And then like you said, this year we got people like Brad Knight, Patrick Walters, guys like that who are joining. They are on those other top tier tours. And it's like, this will be a good year to to kind of show that, because they're not going to come in here and just dominate, and you're going to see them at the end of the year have a 60-70 point lead over the rest of the field. It's like at that point you're like, glorified BFL. It's like, no, these the guys we're going against, they're too good. They're not going to let that happen. So there are some guys that definitely this is like a staging ground for some, but I think after a couple of years, they're either going to become that household name that's going to push the league forward, or they're going to phase out, and those household names are going to pick up those spots. Right. So, definitely.
I got a question for you real quick, guys. So if you had an opportunity, someone sent you an email tomorrow, and I'm not going to pick tours, but you had an opportunity to go to a different tour, would you go fish that schedule? Would you fish back-to-back week? This is what I think the NPFL is so nice about. We have a 5 to 6 week break between every event. Would you go and throw your money in? Say it's the same money, break it even cross board, another 30 grand to go fish MLF tour or the elites. Would you go do that with the chance of fishing like for a month straight?
Yes. Only if it was for the elite series though, because the dream's the classic.
Right.
I'll be honest. If it's easier to get in the classic fishing the elites than it is fishing in the opens.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you said, hey, right now, same money, you can go fish the elites, I'd be all in, just because that's a lot better chance of me getting into the classic than having to try to fight through the opens.
Right. Yep. Okay. Yep. I'll make sure. Yep. I'm here because of the schedule break. My mentality, I can't fish for a month straight.
I think I've only got maybe 2 months where I don't fish a week out of the month. 2 weeks, a week, or a month. But most of the time, I'm 3 weeks a month on the road.
All right.
Going to the next one, leaving one, going to the next one. So.
All right. Nice.
I mean, for me, the fishing like a month straight isn't a big issue. Right. Once ice out hits up here and charters really start getting going, and the guide trips really are booked up, I fish every day. From a safe bet is like beginning of May till September, every single day minus a bad weather day. And then
Mhm.
you've got the few weeks before that, April, where we're just fun fishing, before the charters really get going, or tournaments in May, February this year, all the way into like this year, we're going to have a tournament that's in November. So
Right.
like,
Right.
yeah, no, like fishing a month straight, I don't care. I'm used to that.
Okay.
I love it enough to where I could fish for 6 months every single day straight, and I'm like
Right.
all for it.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna write that down. We gotta work on that. Okay.
All right, guys. So as we start getting closer to the end of this, I got 6 questions for y'all. So we're gonna start with old Bobby, as usual. The age,
Hey,
age before
young
beauty.
Bobby. Yeah.
But all right, question number 1: what's your go-to confidence bait?
Oh God, everybody knows this one's spinnerbait.
All right. Rick.
I don't have any. I don't have confidence in anything. No, I'm just kidding. It'd be a 2K jigs, deposit swim jig. Something I can cover water with. I can, trim the skirt, make it rise a little higher or lower. Adjusting the trailer on it. I can cover all kinds of different columns of water with the same bait. That's my confidence bait.
All right, Bobby. Question number 2: what is your graph preference?
Garmin.
Grant, Hummingbird, Garmin.
Garmin. All the way. Yeah.
All right. What about you, Rick?
I'm gonna go with Hummingbird. I'm a Hummingbird guy. I did not sign a deal just so I can use Garmin Panoptics though. So I kind of think Garmin's got that kind of game figured out. I believe their Panoptics is probably the best in the market right now. So I went with them. I got that on my front, but I got Hummingbirds all the way around.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I mean, I wasn't offered a deal with them, but I've just used Hummingbirds for forever. But I've used Garmin, Hummingbird, and Lowrance, and honestly, like depending on the situation, I found like in this situation, like Panoptics, hands down, Garmin's got it. Like nails it out. Like holy crap, like that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard there's some bugs with Hummingbird, but I think once they fix all the bugs and stuff, they'll be right there. Because I mean, like even though Garmin is so amazing with that Panoptics, that Lowrance live site is not far behind.
Not far behind. I agree.
At all. And then once all the bugs are fixed on the Hummingbird, like it'll be right there. And then like Lowrance, like the usability of it, like how easy it is to use, love that. But man, I can't get away from that mega imaging. I love that mega imaging.
Right. Exactly.
All right, number 3. All right, Bobby. Dunkin', Starbucks, or gas station coffee?
Oh boy, and I'm a coffee drinker too, But as far as I'm concerned, I make the best pot of coffee. But if I had to choose between the 3 of them, you know what? I think I'm gonna have to probably say the gas station coffee. Yeah. It's got that extra ump, and and then again, you're not paying $10 a cup for it, so and you got the real deal. You get the real stuff.
So, yeah. I'm gonna put my 17 years of truck driving with 2 million miles under my belt right now. I'm gonna put down that I've had a cup of coffee out of a truck stop in about all 48 states I could reach, and that's my number 1. It's like I'll take a truck stop coffee over anything.
It's like I'll take a nice liquid dirt any day.
Yeah, absolutely. A little less water, and we have to stir it.
That's right.
All right. Number 4: crunchy or creamy peanut butter?
Oh, it's got to be creamy all the way for me. I like the creamy stuff. You spend too much time picking the other stuff out of your teeth, and that's kind of hard when you got one pole in one hand and you're picking the peanut butter out with the other hand. That's a little too much time consuming there for me.
No, I get that. No, I'm definitely for that one. It's it depends, like on the water or not. Off the water, crunchy all the time. But on the water, you can get the Jif squeeze tube of peanut butter, and that was a game changer for me last year. Like I'd have the squeeze tube of jelly and the squeeze tube of peanut butter. I'd whip them out in like 10 seconds, have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and be back to fishing.
Man, I roomed with you for an entire year, man. I had no idea you like nuts in your mouth. No idea.
Rick Langenderfer.
I gotta wait because I can save all that crap toward the end of this stuff because in case people aren't listening anymore. But I'm a creamy guy, 100%. No questions asked.
Yeah, I figured. After that comment.
For the above reason, right?
Yeah. All right. Number 5, grilled cheese or chicken noodle soup?
Grilled cheese. Come on, bring it on.
All right,
Grilled
Rick?
cheese.
Absolutely, grilled cheese.
Oh
100%
yeah,
grilled cheese.
I grilled cheese today, and that's why I came up with that question. I was like eating it. And I was
Yeah,
like,
good call.
yeah,
You gotta
there
throw
we
bacon
go.
in. I just had a restaurant offer me bacon on my grilled cheese. I didn't even get grilled cheese in the restaurants. Well, they offered you want bacon on that, and I'm like, absolutely.
I can't remember where I
Yeah.
went. Where did we go this year that they had that grilled cheese sandwich on the menu? And it was expensive too. It was like $15, $16, but it came with like barbecue and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I
probably
was
the cheese
like,
state, Wisconsin.
Yeah,
it probably was.
yeah.
All right.
We ate,
And
I don't know. We ate a lot of sketchy places this year, bro. We need to step that up a little bit.
That's what he was.
We need to start casting some checks, man, because we had some stuff where it's like we pull up. I'm like, I'm not even sure this place is open.
and then you walk in. I'm still not sure this is open.
Right? Sat there for 20 minutes, didn't see anybody.
All right. Last question, Bobby. If you were a bourbon, describe yourself.
If I was a bourbon, describe myself. Well, I'd probably have to say something like happy, top of the line, top shelf, all the way. Good stuff.
All right. Rick, you Southern Comfort.
Oh man, I don't know. If I was a bourbon, I'd make sure I come in a glass bottle that my wife designs. She's a mechanical engineer that designs all the materials that touch the hot metals during the process of the bottle making. So she's made most of those throughout the country. She's had a part to do with. So I'm not a bourbon drinker, but I'll just say if it came in a slim aluminum can with a pop top, that's my style right there.
He's like, if it came in a slim aluminum can and it was called Busch Light, I'm all over that.
We're in. Yeah, we're in. If someone can market bourbon in a pop cop can, I got marketing for you.
There we go. All right, guys. Well, it was great talking with y'all, having y'all on tonight. Rick, I'll see you in 5 days or something like that. 6 days.
5 days.
Yeah. I'll see you at the Columbus Expo.
Yeah.
Bobby, I'll see you here in a couple of weeks when we finally roll into town and get to hopefully not freeze to death. But I'm literally still in my brother's heated jacket. I have a helmet that is coming. I showed a photo of Rick today. Let's just say,
camera guys, be ready when Cameron rolls through day one.
Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah. Just know, day one in PFL launch, you're gonna want to watch it.
Have camera on full.
Because I will have this helmet on for takeoff, and it does work. It is safe. I have tested it. Looked through it, so we're fine.
He was in the shower. He tested it in the shower. It works.
You're gonna see it, and you're gonna be like, "What is wrong with this kid?" Be like, "Yeet."
All right, I'm gonna look for that.
All right. So, anybody I want to thank before we get off here?
Go ahead, Bobby.
Well, hey, thanks for having me on. Is all I can say. Appreciate it. Good time as always, and looking forward to spending some time with you down in Cumberland.
Oh yeah, should be a fun time.
Rick, I'm gonna steal this sponsor opportunity. Come see me at 2K Jigs booth in Columbus. We're gonna be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week. I'll be there. Probably split time. I think the MPFL trailers will be there as well, so we'll probably split time between there and that and the 2K Jigs booth. But also non-punctured call tags. Fish conservation is the biggest thing right now in the industry. MGM call tags. I just partnered with them. Use Rick L10, save you 10% on non-punctured call tags. I'll say they're the best in the business right now because they don't clamp down. They're a rubber band deal. You can't over torque them. Some of these new ones you can just wrench on them, and I feel they're almost doing just as much damage as the puncture ones do. But MGM's just a little rubber band deal. It's squeeze on. I've never lost a fish. Granted, I don't catch big fish, so I don't have to worry about calling tags big ones, but they keep the little 14 inches in bay, and they keep them calm actually because their mouth can't close. So that's the way I look at it. If their mouth can't close, they can't get all that active. But yeah, I got all kinds of sponsors I list. If you guys know me, follow me. Like I said, I'll see you in October, or I'll see you in Columbus, and then I'll see you. I think 15 days. 15 days, Cumberland.
Yep,
Let's go.
Yeah, 15 days. Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, if y'all are at the Columbus Expo, stop by. I'll have a booth for bourbon and fast fishing. I'll be booking trips for the charter side of this, largemouth and smallmouth on Lake Erie. That way, in case the wind is a little too crazy, we can still go in. And for those hot summer days when like the smallmouth really aren't in a good mood, go tie a frog on and go whack them up in the shallows. So, but definitely we'll be selling T-shirts.
You gotta tell Bobby that, man. Come on, bro. You just told Bobby that.
All right, I gotta.
If
If you guys are gonna throw all your sponsors, I might as well throw mine out there real quick. Then might as well give everybody a shot at it, But I'll say thanks to Jenna Marine. First off, those guys are great when it comes to getting your boats out, taking supporting the guys and the crew, and then St. Croix Rods, best rods on earth, pal. Gotta give them all the credit in the world for the rods, and another good group of guys. Elizabeth, and everybody over Sublime Wear USA. The greatest family in the world. You want to get together with them, getting your jerseys and your sportswear made, get in with Elizabeth over at Sublime. And man, I tell you what, those people are top notch over there. They will take care of you all year long, and you definitely will feel like a number with them. I mean, you'll be part of the family with those guys. Norco Tackle out of Louisiana. Blake, everybody down there with those guys. Good group of guys. If you're looking to buy your tackle online and everything, look up Norco. Blake, he'll be glad to help you out. And the biggest, a big sponsor for this year, title sponsor, is actually Lake Barkley RV Report. They're going to kill me for this one. It's the Right Spot RV Park in Cadiz, Kentucky, right on Barkley Lake there, right at the Barkley Bridge. So looking for a good place to stay. Those guys, check them out. There you go. Got my plug in for my guys.
Good job. You've done that a couple times.
But yeah, definitely stop by Columbus Expo. I'll be moving around. I'll be my boat sponsor, Paul's Marine. I'll be at his booth, Fully Loaded's booth. I'll be at Razor Rod's booth, and then my booth, obviously, and then either walking around or doing something with the MPFL. So I'll be all over the place. But definitely stop by. Go say hi to Rick too. And we'll see everyone.
Yeah, I like to talk, so come see me.
Oh yeah, but yeah, we will do another one of these actually at the MPFL event. I'm thinking Wednesday, probably during our off day. Try to get a couple guys together. I mean, Rick rooms with me, so you'll see him again. So yeah, but yeah, so
everybody said hi while you're up there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see everyone in a couple weeks.
You got a good time.
Thanks,
Yep.